Okay, Boker Tov. Today is the 19th day of Elul, and we now begin the 15th chapter in the Sefer Eshpoich Lefonov Sichi. And the title of the chapter is Al Yedei Hisbodedus Zochin Lahagia Lebitul. Through Hisbodedus, a person merits to reach the level of Bitul, which is nullifying himself before Hashem. Now, the subcategory is Tachlis Brias Ha'olam Bitul Lashem Yisbarach. The purpose of the entire creation of the world is that humanity should nullify themselves before Hashem. So he starts with a piece of Torah from Rabbi Nachman, the 52nd teaching. Iker HaKavana Shabara Kadosh Baruch Hu Kol Ha'olam Bishvil Yisrael Haya. The main intention when Hashem created the whole world was for the Jewish people, so that the Jews would do his will, and they should return and cleave to their roots. That they'll return and be incorporated into Hashem's reality. He is the ultimate source of reality. In other words, God must exist, and from God comes all existence. And we have to come back to that source of all existence. And therefore, when the Jews do, the next step is the entire world that was created for the Jews has a positive reality. That's the whole reason God created the world. The whole world shall come on its own recognition that there is a God, and they want to be incorporated into this world. And that's what we call tikkun olam. That's the real repair to the world. If you want to merit to be incorporated into that root, you want to return and be incorporated into the unity of Hashem. It's impossible unless you nullify him before Hashem. That you totally nullify yourself to Hashem until you're incorporated into his oneness. We discussed this a lot in the other sefer that we learned before this, the different levels of Bitul and things like that. In other words, there cannot be a concept of Hashem Echad Ushmo Echad if I think there's God and then there's me. That cannot be. Everyone has to realize that we are an extension of God's energy, and we're totally in sync with God, and he totally is running the show. Now, so if that's the purpose of creation, is everyone should be nullified. So what's a critical step to getting to Bitul? And still the Rabbi is all speaking, Rabbi Nachman. The extra level they Bitul, Hisbodedus. It's impossible to reach Bitul without Hisbodedus. When a person is mispoded, he's in seclusion with Hashem, and he explains all his speech between himself and Hashem. Therefore, he merits to nullify all the lusts and the bad midos until he merits to nullify all his physicality, as it were, and be incorporated into his root. Then the whole world will be included. Now the whole world will be something that is a necessary reality, because we are all part of Hashem's reality. Okay. And let's go to the next page. Finishing off, Rabbi Nachman, but to get to Bitul, but to reach Bitul really should be done, the Hisbodedus should be done at night when the world's asleep and no one's running after their titles. Also, one should do Hisbodedus in a place outside of civilization, a place where people are running after the titles of this world. You don't want to be there. Because if you're not separated from them, Haruach shel taivas olam hasem avalbelos mafrias lagila bitol. The spirit, the environment of the lusts of this world confuse a person and disrupt a person from reaching bitol at kan, the holy words of Rabbi Nachman. So again, obviously you see it in all these forms. They keep repeating and repeating and repeating ideas and adding another layer to it. We've already looked at this Torah a few times already. And again, so now he says, in this Torah, in this Torah, the Rabbi very succinctly explains the foundations of how the world will get to its point, why you are in this world. It's everyone's purpose and the whole world's purpose. And these are the three fundamentals right over here. The first idea we got to get into our minds are what's the goal of every Jewish soul and all the worlds that exist? The people should be doing God's will, and be incorporated into their roots. And to the degree that we do his will, and so they will be incorporated into Hashem, all the worlds that are dependent on us. Hashem is the must-be reality that exists. So number one is that's the goal of creation. What's the second? To be incorporated in the root. How do you get there? Only through bitol. Klomer al yedei she'avatel es kol hatayvus v'amidas haros ad she'nispatel mimenu etzem yeshuso hagashmis v'yakula batel mevutel b'tach l'shem yisborach. It only can happen with bitol, that when a person nullifies all his drives and all his bad midas until he's totally nullifies his essential reality that's physical, and be totally nullified completely to Hashem. Second step, you must totally nullify yourself before Hashem. And the third foundation, we cannot nullify all those taivas, Hisbodedus, but through reflection. That's prayer and speech between himself and Hashem. Klomer, meaning to say, she is Zachech v'yataro, so Mikol hatayvus v'amidas haros. We should daven and supplicate before Hashem that he should merit to purify for himself from all the taivus and all the bad midos. These are the three steps, three ikarim, that the goal is to be incorporated into Hashem's reality. Second, that happens through bitol. And the number third is that you've got to have Hisbodedus. I'm just thinking as we're learning this, so I'm just thinking perhaps this is the idea on Rosh Hashanah of Malchios, Zichronos, and Shofros. Just thinking about it, I got to work it through in my mind. 2 to 3 come very easily to mind. The first one is Malchios. We're declaring Hashem's the king. Well, if Hashem's the king, what does that mean? Well, when you have a king is someone that we all willingly accept as our king, as opposed to a Moshel who's a ruler. And so the idea is you coronate the king, right? So, and we're Hashem as the Melech Malchei Amlochim. So what does that mean? That we're talking about Hashem's kingship. I mean, he became the king of the world when first man existed. And the point is that by making Hashem our king, that means there's a goal and a purpose, and the purpose is that we should be incorporated into Hashem's reality. You don't have to keep the door open, my friend. It doesn't lock. It stays open. It stays open. You don't have to let all the cold air go out. Okay, so that's number one. Okay, then, the Zichronos, if you think about it, should bring a person to bittul, because remember, Atozol here, you remember everything. Like there's past, present, future. Nothing is lost before Hashem. And therefore, that will bring a person to realize, he's just not the king, but this is an awesome reality. You talk about all the zichronos that happened all the way in the past, and how you remembered Noach, and all these things, and the Mabul, and this and that, and all those things that we're remembering is to bring us to a degree of beetle. Okay, this might be a good class for next week. And then finally, the idea of Hisbodedus, where Hisbodedus, you're pouring your heart before Hashem. Well, as we've already have discussed, it's a piece from Rabbi. Nachman.
It is locked.
Not supposed to get locked.
I know that, but something.
Nobody gets locked in the morning for some reason.
I don't know. I'm going to ask them to come in. I couldn't come in.
Okay, so go through the kitchen. Okay, anyway, we don't have to keep it so wide open. Anyway, and the third one again is shofros. And Rabbi Nachman says in another piece, the whole idea of shofros is lishma kol shofar. The kol shofar, or as we talked about in the Wednesday night class, where we said if a person, sometimes you don't have the right words, so what is it? It's the voice. It's the voice. It's the way you say it, the screaming, the crying. That's the hishtapchus hanefesh. It's not just words. It's something beyond the words. And when you're blowing the shofar, and that's the cry of the Jew, that is supposed to reflect the idea of the Hisbodedus HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it's through those three elements, the person is able to reach the whole purpose of creation. And that's what Rosh Hashanah is all about. An idea I'll have to develop more. I have to look at all the psukim and show you this, but I believe this makes a lot of sense. We'll see if it does, if it checks out a little bit. But either way, these are the three fundamental points. And certainly on Rosh Hashanah, regardless, a person should realize this idea that we all have to be incorporated into Hashem's reality. It comes through our bittul. Now, obviously, the bittul is, what's the whole point of Rosh Hashanah? The whole point of Rosh Hashanah is what? Hashem, you're going to decide if we live or if we die. Now, if you think about that for a minute, if you really took Rosh Hashanah seriously, which most people don't, what are you really, why are you celebrating this holiday? Is because, as we've explained, we said that you're given, on Rosh Hashanah, you're giving just enough life till next Rosh Hashanah. Fill up the gas tank for 365 days. And next a week, another 8 days from now, all our gas tanks are empty. If you really believe that, how could you not be mavatal yourself before Hashem? It means you're absolutely nothing. The Chazan says, Hidi animas, I'm the poor word. On Slichas, we're going to start the Ashkenazim late. We're going to start, I'm like a poor person knocking at the door. Why? I'm Mr. Rich Man. I have everything. What do I have to worry about? The answer is, you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing. And that's what Hashem remembers. He remembers. He has to decide now what kind of year you're going to have. It has nothing to do with anything else that you're doing. You can only do one thing, the Ratzon Hashem. Do the Ratzon Hashem, and now you're up to what Hashem wants. And Hashem, you can be the biggest tzaddik in the world, and Hashem says, for reasons you do not know, I'm going to give you a very difficult year because there's certain things have to happen. Well, I need to know about this. You don't need to know nothing. You have to talk to me. That's why they have the Zichronos. Hashem remembers, Atah Zocher. You remember everything I did. You remember all of history. And because it's a very complicated idea of how the tikkun has to come, so Hashem is going to totally decide whether, with or without you, no matter what you did, Hashem was going to decide what kind of year you have. Now you could, and now what are you praying for? Hashem, let me feel connected to you. That's the shofar, right? You have to, that's where it's, but how do we coordinate Hashem? How does this memory come? It's by the shofar, which shows the total expression, or letting it all out. When we're hearing the shofar, that is the hisbodedus, so to speak, that goes beyond words, where it's mamish coming right out of your lungs. Mamish right out of you. And if you have all those three, now we're coming to the point, and that's what the end is all about. You talk of a shofar. We're talking about that we should come to Mashiach. We keep talking about that Mashiach should come. That's the ultimate thing we want. And that's when the whole world achieves its purpose. So that is what the Musaf prayer is telling us. And that's the whole goal of Rosh Hashanah. What's going to happen in the year? That's just, incidental. It shouldn't be that, I don't know, it could be a really bad year. I have to have so many problems. It's only one thing. Are we going to get closer to Hashem this year or not? That's all it's about. And then Hashem will give you the tools necessary for that. So that's the whole point. So it's a good warm-up for Rosh Hashanah. Now, Esat Tefillah, now that's when we're a whole congregation, but still in the essence of Hisbodedus itself, Esat Tefillah Zos, Yesh Lasos, B'makom Ubizman, Bo Ha'adam Avudad, Mechevres, Umimakom B'nei Adam. It has to be done in a time and a place where he's alone, separated from the society where people are. When you're doing Hisbodedus, you'll be totally separated from the insanity of this world. But if you're with people in a place where everybody's running after this craziness, you can't come to the bittul. Because move first to be separated from Olam Hazeh. And that's why you don't want to bring, foreign things into a shul when you're davening, because you want to be totally separated from this world. But they're all praying to Hashem. Okay, they're supposed to. You're right, and it's be totally not focused out of that. Now, Hisbodedus, who Musag Shahut Hisbodedus. As remember, he has said, this has been formulated through the earlier words, like Rabbeinu Yonah, one of the Rishonim, Rav Avram ben Avram, he's ben Aramba, the son of the Rambam, the Chovos HaLevavos, the Seforno, Rabbeinu B'chaim, his commentary on the Chumash, the Meiri, the Barbanel, Rav Moshe Cordovero, Rav Moshe Chaim Lutzato, Od Rabbi. It's not a Breslov thing. This is way back. Just kikli, rather, as a utensil that the patriarchs, the prophets, the tzaddikim, they all reached their levels. This is for everybody. His son talks about it.
Right, but he said, you don't have the right society.
Right, to leave the society, but his son speaks at length about Hisbodedus, mamish about Hisbodedus. Hisbodedus kolela, so what's incorporated in the Hisbodedus? 4 points. 1, prisha mehavalazet, severing yourself from the craziness of this world. 2, tshuva. 3, tefillah. 4, dveikus b'Hashem, cleaving to Hashem, as it says in the Sefer Haredim, in the Shalah, and the writings of the students of the Baal Shem Tov. And he gives you a whole bunch of people who are all his students who write a lot about this at length. Hisbodedus, I don't know why, but you see, he's going back and reviewing the points we've discussed. Hisbodedus perushal hisboded lios badad. Hisbodedus means to be in seclusion, lifrosh bechevras b'nei v'okam yishbedel, to separate from people and where they are. Mikivin shagashmius achomrius hahevel shalom hazein and oslo l'sagla Hashem. The physicality, the coarse physicality does not allow a person to cleave to Hashem. Rabbeinu Magalas kol hakochas haknuzim ba'etz Hisbodedus, and the Rebbe has revealed all the powers that are hidden within this advice of Hisbodedus. Only when a person is secluded from other people, he's together with Hashem. He merits to unify and nullify in a level of there is none besides him. You are Hashem alone. Therefore, Rabbeinu writes, that's why the best Hisbodedus outside of society a place where people are not found. At night, when people are sleeping, and the world is now clear and clean, at least temporarily, from running after the vanities of the world. And in Torah 54, he adds, the best time, if you could be optimal, is the middle of the night. As David HaMelech says, I mentioned my songs at night in Lavavi Asicha, with my heart I speak, and he searches my soul. Yes, sir.
So the zealots, I wouldn't call them zealots, but the people who were hiding in caves all alone, what do they call them?
Hermits? No,
not hermits. They had a name. Not hermits.
Ascetics.
Huh?
The seers?
Oh, they were praying in cave by themselves with nobody else around. They were all by themselves. That's what they did. They were, there's a name for them. I can't remember.
Okay, are they Jewish?
Yeah, Jewish, of course, Jews. They were praying to Hashem, and they were all just totally, completely isolated from the world in a cave and by themselves and praying. And that's all they were doing from morning till night.
I don't know of such people.
No.
That he's saying people. Shimon Bar Yochai was exceptional.
No.
I don't know of such people.
They had a name for them.
I don't know. I don't know, but it's not what you're supposed to be doing.
I know.
You're going to ask me why are they doing that? I'm going to tell you they should
follow that. We discussed this once a long time ago.
I don't know who these people are. I'm sorry.
There's a name.
My memory is not good.
Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, let's continue. If it comes back to you, if you come up with the name, we can further discuss it. Okay. Halaylo. Night is the best time to speak what's on your heart and to mention and to remember what the goal of your being sent in this world. Until a person feels, understands, and is aroused to remember the remembrance of the future world that depends on the heart. And that's the time to pour yourself up before Hashem. As again, we mentioned various psukim, Kumi Roni Balayla, L'Rosh Hashmers. Let me get up and sing at night at the beginning of the watch. Shivchi Kamayim Libech Nochach Hashem, pouring your heart before Hashem.
Where can you do that nowadays?
What do you mean? You can do it anywhere. And the Gemara says, Rosh Hashmars, Shuzman Chatzos Salayla. That's part of the whole idea of Tikkun Chatzos. Tikkun Chatzos is an aspect of Hisbodedus and pouring your heart before Hashem. Ukvar Kosev Rabbeinu b'Torah Kuf Mem Tes, and the Rabbi writes in the 149th teaching, Shizman Chatzos Nimsha Shatayim. Chatzos is really 2 hours. Okay, Uzman Zahu Ha'es Ratzon Shel Kol Yom Kulo. That is the most auspicious time of the entire day. So it's not exactly 12 on the dot. It's probably whatever, goes on for 2 hours.
31, okay.
Now let's bring the Chovas Halvavos by Rabbeinu B'Chaya, where he's talking about an Ohev Hashem. How an Ohev Hashem is misboded from people and praise Hashem. It's Rabbeinu B'Chaya, 11th century. Okay. He says, Ki tfilas halayla zacher yoser, ki tfilas hayom mikam upon. The prayers at night are much purer than the prayers of the day for many reasons. And again, Rabbi Nachman is just telling us what has always been normative Judaism. Okay? So don't look at some of the Breslovers who may be not adjusted, the minority of them, to say, they're a bunch of wackos. All right? Just like they say the same thing about Haredim and yeshiva people and anybody.
How many people do that nowadays?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Well, if they do it, they're not announcing it.
No, of course not. But
they're not announcing it. This is for tzaddikim, but people who want to, to aspire to this. right? Ki balayla. Now, Rabbeinu Bachaya says, Ki balayla adam pani yoser mibayom. First of all, a person is more focused at night than in the day. Okay. The drives of the body and the food and the drink is more settled at night. And at night he's separated from people more than a day. His senses, his feelings are more at rest. They're not distracted. He doesn't see anything that distracts him. The world is much quieter. And at night you can escape flattery because there's nobody there. You're not doing it in front of it to look good. Then he can do Hisbodedus. So these are the reasons Rabbeinu Bachaya said this. And the last reason, and the best time to talk to God is at night. Why? He should unify with the remembrance of Hashem. At the same time, where people who really love each other connect with each other. You see the people at night, they're intimate with each other. There's an idea of being intimate with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As it says, Nafshi ibisicha balayla. My soul really wants you at night. Amishkavi balaylos, bakashti eshav nafshi. When I went to bed at night, I sought out the one that my soul loves. Okay. There's a long piece without a stopping place. Let's just do a little bit more. When you're married at such a time, in such a place, to nullify yourself from all that's engaged in this world, and you're engaged in prayer and speech with you and Hashem, that you should be close, to him. So that Hashem should purify you from all the lusts of this world. Then you can merit to weaken the power of the Yetzer Hara, the Taivas, the lust, the bad midos, until you can reach a state of totally nullifying those Yetzer Haras. Move on, so it's obvious. The beginning of Hisbodedus. You got to return into tshuva to all your sins. You have to pour the tears like water before Hashem. You cannot reach Beetle if you have not purified yourself from the sins that separate you and Hashem. In other words, you do an avera, you erect a barrier between you and Hashem. So you can't be mavatal yourself to Hashem when you got the barriers. It's not possible. I'm totally nullified to Hashem, but I do whatever I want. It doesn't work. So you got to do tshuva. And therefore you see also in the tefillas of Rabbi Nosson, a little snippet from Likutei Tefillas. He says the prayer should be that I should merit to explain and spread out my words before you. Until my heart truly arouses to you. With a great yearning. With great crying. With copious tears. That I should cry and confess on all my sins that I've done. And you still need to increase the prayers until you nullify completely the somethingness that exists in the person. The I, the ego that exists in everybody. As long as that ego is there, you cannot incorporate in that which is the source of existence, which is Hashem. Only after you nullify that, then you can incorporate yourself into that true reality. These words, the Rebbe hasn't said one word about your sufferings. You're not being misquoted because I'm suffering and I need you to help me. Nothing. Ella al darga mali shel beetle. We're talking about beetle. Shitachlish shel shama nivra. This is why God brought you in the world. One more paragraph. Finish the page. Habitol shayna betachlis mamatar sharabel vasram. Beetle is completely different than the gold that rests in the hearts of most people. Many of us pray liskos liyos. We pray to be a servant of Hashem. O Baal Madrego, or a person on a certain level. That is the mistake. The beetle is lo lios ani, to not be an I. Kachoshev kach, olav nemar vani, because a person who thinks I'm an I, he says, and I. Vani, I am in the goal. Ani, Shua really the real Ani is the Shechina, which is the Gullus, which is by people, you know why? Who think they're something. When everybody thinks they're a somebody, then Hashem is a nobody. Habitol, what's the beetle? Lischos lios lo ayin batul umavutul. The goal of beetle is to be zero, data, squat, nada, whatever. That's it. That is the goal. And you manifest yourself through Hashem. Okay, that's what, and even there's one more. It says, Lolios Oved, not to be a servant even of Hashem. At least batel, to be nullified. Lebatos koma, say to nullify all my actions. Ritonos and my thoughts and desires. Shalo esa, shalo echshavo, ertzadover achim, res Hashem, lo beglal, Yossi Oved. I don't do, think, or want one thing different than the will of Hashem, not because I am serving. I have no other desire but to do the will of Hashem. That is the goal. Very lofty goals, but that is what Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is really supposed to bring us to.
Almost impossible.
Oh.
Nothing's impossible.
No, I know not even, but
You
how
gotta-
many people reach this
You
level?
got to want it. First, you got to want it.
Of course.
Most people don't want it. Okay, we got to stop here. Sorry to go a little bit overboard today. Okay, have a good Erev Shabbos. Yes, remember that 10 to 6
10 to 6.
is the dish, 6:20.